letting me, there we go, thank you very much. The topic is an assessment of EFL teaching in private elementary schools. This study was supposed to be here in Durango only. I didn't want to be too ambitious. Unfortunately, because of different circumstances, I had to change this, and now it's a nationwide research. I'm excited, but at the same time, it's going to be more challenging, of course. What we have, we don't have well, we have it this side here. I'm going to read this, and this is what's behind everything I do. We should not only teach languages, we should guide our students towards developing competencies for life through an intercultural approach, empowering them to become righteous leaders of a global society. That's what I want from my teaching practices, and as a language coordinator, that's what I want from my teachers. The next one, please. Thank you. This is the overview, the background. We're going to talk a little bit about culture, competencies, objectives, the method, partial results. This is an ongoing research, some partial conclusions. I'm going to show you a model I designed in order to accomplish my goal as a language coordinator, as a teacher trainer, and some examples. The following, please. The next slide, some of the acronyms I'll be using. The next one, please. Thank you very much. I want you to look at this image here, and it says, language teaching has no value if it's not capable of transforming lives. And the first thing I want you to do is choose a partner really quick, somebody close to you, choose a partner. I want you to reflect on this. Language teaching has no value if it's not capable of transforming lives. And I want you to think about your own teaching practices. And I want you to be really honest with yourself and with your partner and tell him or her if you're actually transforming lives through your language teaching or if you're just teaching languages. Okay? 1 minute, really quick. 1 minute per person. So choose somebody and please share. 1 minute, okay? Be concise and thorough at the same time. With your teaching practices, are you transforming lives or are you just teaching languages? And why, of course? Why do you think so? $20 seconds. Time's up. Now the other person, please share if you're transforming lives or if you're just teaching languages and why. The other way around, please. 50 seconds for the other person to share. $30 seconds. $10 seconds. Finish your conversation. And thank you very much. Does anyone want to share? Anyone? Thank you very much. Do we have an extra microphone? I can give her my microphone, no problem.
About what? Yes, hi. My name is Suzette Garcia. I am from Tlaxcala, but I've been living here for 17 years. I'm here from Motolinia School. I am working with kids and secondary school students. I think that teachers are very important in kids' lives because we are during the day with the kids, almost more than the parents, I guess. And we also are an important person for the kids. We are not only teachers, we sometimes be mother, father, a nurse, a babysitter, a friend. So our job is very important.
Okay, let's give her a round of applause. Thank you very much. This is what I believe teaching should be about, transforming lives. And has been my teaching practices, and this is what I want from my teachers. I actually have a teacher here. He can tell you it's not easy, it's challenging, but it's worth it. The next slide, please. Thank you very much. The background behind this research, well, basically it all begins for me when Dolores describes the 4 pillars of education and institutions start changing or adapting models in order to prepare students for life. In order to prepare them for the roles assigned to them by society, to make them viable contributors, and of course to develop competencies for life through an intercultural approach. That's what we do in our school, and that's what I want to find out through my research. The next one, please. Of course, in order to be interculturally aware or competent, we need to acknowledge our own culture in order to acknowledge other cultures. We want to guide our students in order for them to have a civic participation, in order to be socially integrated. The next one, please. Thank you. And the reason why is we want to address some of the major problems we have in our world. And of course, governments, policymakers, educational institutions, and teachers, we have this joint responsibility. We have the responsibility of preparing students for life, not just teaching languages. The next one, please. Thank you very much. There are a lot of definitions about culture. Of course, we will be talking about values, customs, beliefs, and practices that constitute a way of life of a group of people. The one I like the most is this one. It's not the most descriptive one. It's not the newest one. Culture is communication. Communication is culture. I believe that all the values we have, the customs, the beliefs, and the practices are encompassed in this, in the way we communicate. And the majority of problems we have right now, it's because of this lack of communication or efficient communication. Next one, please. Thank you very much. If we view culture as an iceberg, well, we have this invisible characteristics such as assumptions, beliefs, worldviews, attitudes, perceptions, and values. All this is affected by media, by history, by family, and of course, by educational institutions. And we all see the visible part, which is the consequence of all this, the dress, the traditions, heroes, artifacts, behaviors, etc. We continue, please. Now, when we talk or when we refer to culture, most of the times we think differences between nations or regions. And culture is everywhere. We have different layers of culture. For example, we have the national, the regional, we have the gender, how many problems we have here in Mexico because of gender. We have generational. It's not, our grandparents do not have the same culture as we do. We have the social class, which is obvious, and the organizational or corporate. So when we talk about culture, we need to remember that it's all around us and that it's in our own context, in our family, in our community, in our school. It's not just in different regions or different nations. Next one, please. Thank you very much. Of course, if we talk about culture, we talk about different processes. We talk about the enculturation, which is through direct observation, endoculturation, which is induced by older generations, acculturation, assimilation, when we adapt and obtain different characteristics of other cultures, and of course, transculturation, when two different cultures make new components. The next one, please. Thank you very much. And of course, in order to be interculturally competent, we need to be intercultural. We need to have intercultural awareness. And here's a definition, and I quote: thank you very much. In order to understand and appreciate other cultures, one must get to know and appreciate our own culture. And this is really important. How many times we see that we don't know about our own culture or we don't appreciate our own culture? And how are we going to be interculturally competent. Next one, please. When we talk about ICC, Intercultural Communicative Competencies, we're talking about competencies. For example, communicative competence, which is integrated by linguistic, pragmatic, and social linguistic competence. The problem with communicative competence is that the focus is on the individual speaker. Cross-cultural aspects are not taken into consideration. Most of the times, when I get to observe classes, and according to my experience, I see that teachers are developing linguistic competencies and sometimes communicative competencies, but they don't go further. The next one, please. Intercultural competencies, which include the knowledge, the skills, abilities, and of course, values that will have a person get that sense of belonging to a certain culture, a certain group of people. And according to Byram, there are certain characteristics, attitudes, curiosity, and openness to other cultures and our own culture, knowledge of our own culture and other cultures, skills of interpreting and relating to other cultures, the skills of discovery and interaction with other cultures, and critical cultural awareness about our own culture again and other cultures. The next one, please. Thank you very much. So the integration of communicative competencies and intercultural competencies would have us develop intercultural communicative competencies. The social linguistic, the linguistic, and the discourse competence integrated with the intercultural competencies will give us the knowledge, the skills, the abilities, the values in order to communicate efficiently with people from different groups, different social, cultural backgrounds. Next one, please. Thank you very much. Now, supported by what I just described, I came up with these following questions. How do teachers' intercultural perceptions and competencies affect ICC implementation? How do textbooks influence ICC classroom practices in EFL context? How is ICC taught and learned in EFL context? The general objective, assess and associate key factors that affect its implementation. Specific objectives, identify a correlation between the teacher's IC perceptions and competencies, analyze IC content in textbooks, and assess ICC classroom practices. This is an ongoing research, so I'm halfway there. And the next slide, please. It's a mixed methods design, non-random sampling. The participants are EFL teachers in private elementary schools in Mexico. The instruments is a questionnaire, textbook tally sheet, a semi-structured interview, and class observation sheet. All this is backed up by different research studies from around the world. The next one, please. Thank you very much. It's a multi-phase procedure. So first, I'm collecting and analyzing data from surveys and analyzing textbooks. Then I would go and observe classes, design a semi-structured interview, and of course interview teachers, cross-validate findings, and report results. Next one, please. Data analysis, private elementary schools in Mexico which are bilingual or have at least 7.5 hours per week. 9 textbooks from different editorials have been analyzed. 76 surveys have been analyzed. There's a semi-structured interview, which is ongoing, and the class observations too. Next one, please. Thank you. This is the analysis from the 9 textbook. Basically, what I'm analyzing is the intercultural content in textbooks. Books 1 and 2 are the ones that have the most intercultural contents, followed by books 7 and 8. And books 6 and 9 are the books that have the least intercultural content. It doesn't mean they're bad books. Their focus is on something different. So if I'm an institution and I want to develop ICC, well, this would be something that might help me make the correct choice. Next one, please. So we have the survey results. 74% are female, 26% are male. The current age is between, the majority fall into 26 to 45 years old. The highest level of qualification, the majority have a bachelor's degree, some have a master's degree. Teaching experience, half fall into the more than 10 years category, and some between the 3 and 5 years and 6 and 10 years experience. The next one, please. Culture, we asked them if they thought culture had an impact in communication. And the majority, basically 95%, said it did, that it does cause an impact. Culture does have an impact in communication. We asked them if without ICC misunderstandings could occur, and the majority said yes, answered yes. We asked them if linguistic competencies should be separated from intercultural competencies in the way we teach, and the majority said no. So they said that they answered we should basically have both integrated. We asked them if a teacher should have or should have developed ICC in order to teach ICC, and the majority answered yes. So here we have a clear picture that teachers acknowledge the importance of ICC. Now we go on to the next slide, please. Thank you. We asked them if their school curriculum had ICC as a goal, as a specific goal, and 57% said agreed, 20% strongly agreed. So the majority of teachers answered that yes, their school does have ICC as a specific goal in their school curriculum. We asked them if the EFL teacher can have a positive impact in developing ICC. The majority answered yes. We asked them if ICC helps interaction, helps students interact with somebody else. The majority answered yes. We asked them if it would have students seek more interaction. And again, the majority said yes. So now we have a clearer picture about this. So they do believe it's important. The school, at least what they're answering is that they believe it's important because it's a goal in the school curriculum, and they believe it's important for interaction. The next slide, please. Then we asked them what they needed in order to develop ICC, and we gave them 3 options: more class time, resources, and ICC training. 62% said they needed more ICC training. 32% said they needed more resources. And basically less than 10% said they needed more class time. So it's not about more class time, it's about getting ICC training and the specific resources in order to develop ICC. We asked them if their institution provided training, and 37% disagreed, 25% strongly disagreed. So we basically have here almost 60% that disagreed on this. They didn't receive the training they needed. We asked them if they knew where to find ICC, and the majority again disagreed on this. So now here we have a picture, another picture, that even though they think it's important, even though it's in the school curriculum, they're not receiving the training they need, and they don't know where to look for the information. So, of course, this will affect the way we develop ICC in our students. The next one, please. We asked them, with the tally sheet, I analyzed the books, but we also asked them their perception about the books to cross-validate findings. And we asked them if the book or the books dealt with Mexican culture. We have to remember that in order to acknowledge and appreciate other cultures, we need to acknowledge and appreciate our own culture. Most of the teachers answered that no, and if we go back and think about our own textbooks, we can acknowledge that there's a lack of Mexican culture content. Mexico is a big market, so I believe editorials would have to think about this. If we're buying so many books, well, we need to get books that are related to our own context. And that will be a great tool and a great help for us in order to acknowledge and appreciate our own culture. We asked them if the book dealt with aspects of different cultures. 44% agreed on this, 10% strongly agreed. The rest of them were not sure or disagreed on this. We asked them if the book dealt with aspects of the target culture, And of course, the majority answered yes. And we asked this, or we gave this important item, put it in the survey, which is, I believe, the most important one. I am motivated to teach ICC in my class, but I somehow never get around to it. And 43% agreed on this. Basically, 10% strongly agreed to this. So we have almost 50% of the teachers who are motivated to teach ICC, but somehow don't get around to it. And right now, we're going to see some partial conclusions. 17% were not sure, and the rest disagreed on this. The next one, please. So what are the partial conclusions from the research, from what I have right now, from the textbook analysis and from the surveys? Well, teachers acknowledge the importance of ICC. Teachers make an effort to include it. Although most textbooks do have intercultural content, most of them do not have content related to our Mexican context, which I believe is really important. According to surveys, school curriculum includes ICC as one of the objectives or goals, but they do not give training, or at least the training they need. Teachers are motivated to teach ICC or to develop ICC with their students. Unfortunately, because of the previous information, they don't get around to it. This might change. I need a lot of more surveys, and I need to observe classes and analyze some school documents. But here we have a clear picture of what's happening. Are we developing or not developing ICC, and what could be the causes of why we are not doing this? Next one, please. As a language coordinator, the first thing I do when I work for a school is I want to get to know my teachers and see what their perception is related to ICC. So the first thing I do is I do a survey. The last time I asked 20 teachers to establish a daily goal with a certain grammar focus. 14 established daily goals related to linguistic competencies. 6 established daily goals related to communicative competencies. But none of the teachers established a daily goal related to ICC, nor developing competencies for life. So that tells me something. So now what we're going to do is we're going to have a quick competition. Everybody please take out your cell phone. Take out your cell phone, please. And you're going to go into that link, please, kahoot.it, really quick. Let's see who is interculturally competent. Kahoot.it, and you are going to type that pin, please. Kahoot.it, and then that pin, and then you're going to include your name. We already have 4 people, 5, 6, 7. There we go. There we go. "20 seconds to log in." Okay, I'll give you a minute. I'll wait. The rules are simple. You're going to receive points for correct score and the speed that you answer, okay? So try to answer as quickly as possible and, of course, correctly. Both things will give you points. So you might answer correctly, but if you took too long, then you would receive a less score, okay? Everybody's ready? Yes? No? Okay. 30 seconds. 30 seconds. Some of the questions you'll find here are in the survey. Some of the questions are what I ask my teachers to do in their lesson plan. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4. Everybody's ready now? Yes. Great. Here we go. Please click start. Nope. Yeah, there we go. Perfect. Here we go. How much of an impact does culture have in successful communication? Choose the correct answer. Low, moderate, or high? Quickly as possible. You have 15 seconds. There we go. You need to answer quickly. Time's up. Next, please. 19 correct, 7 and 5 incorrect. Next one, please. There we go. And who's Brad Pitt? Ah, there we go. Perfect. Okay, Brad Pitt is winning. Next, please. Individuals become aware of their culture by comparing their first culture to other cultures. Maybe true or false, as quickly as possible. As quickly as possible. Four, three, two, somebody is not answering. There we go. There we go. We had only 30 correct. Okay, next one, please. And Mark Kings. Who's Mark Kings? Okay, very good. Continue, please. If I were to address cultural issues in my classroom, I need to be interculturally competent. False, not necessarily true. Remember, it's choosing the best answer. Maybe one or two could be correct, right? 5, 4. There we go. 28 correct. Okay. Click next, please. And Moon. Who's Moon? Where's Moon? Excellent job. We continue, please. Teaching ICC will help learners cope with culture shock. True, false, maybe. Everybody should get this correct. Somebody's taking, there we go, 4, 3, 2, 1. We had 28 correct, okay. And who's, okay, they're clicking next. Choose the best daily goal for numbers and emotions. Numbers and emotions. Memorize numbers and emotions, understand numbers and emotions, controlling emotions by counting to 10, use numbers and emotions. Remember, we're trying to develop ICC, develop competencies for life. Don't go that fast, please. And we have only 9 correct. Okay, it would be controlling emotions by counting to 10. Remember, developing competencies for life. So they would still be learning numbers, but the focus would be on this, controlling their emotions, right? Okay, next one, please. Mr. P, where are you? Okay, oh, there we go. Hi, nice seeing you. Continue, please. Choose the best daily goal for present perfect. Developing ICC, developing competencies for life. Talk about experiences. Talk about what you have done and how you can improve. Use present perfect correctly. Learn the rules of present perfect. And 18 correct. Again, here, talk about what you have done and how you can improve. Will they be using present perfect? Yes, but the focus is not on the grammar. It's developing competencies for life and ICC. The next one, please. Mr. P, there we go. Okay, continue. Choose the best daily goal for food and quantity. Create a menu for a community kitchen. Learn food and quantity vocabulary. Memorize food and quantity vocabulary. Answer the worksheet correctly using food and quantity. ICC, competencies for life. Okay, we're getting better. 22 correct answers. And next, please. Let's see. Magda. Where's Magda? Excellent job. Very good. We continue. Learning of pragmatic aspects of speech acts, such as values, norms, and politeness conventions, is communicative competencies, pragmatic competencies, intercultural competencies, social linguistic competencies. That's a difficult one. Learning pragmatic aspects of speech acts, such as values, norms, and politeness conventions. Social linguistic. Okay, 11. This was a difficult one. Next, please. Let's see. Mr. P. Okay, goes again in first place. Knowledge of grammar and language used in social settings to perform communicative functions. Communicative competencies, linguistic competencies, IC, ICC. Knowledge of grammar and language used in social settings to perform communicative functions. And only 6, okay. Next, please, let's see who's winning. Mr. P. The last question. Knowledge, skills, attitudes, and values which will enable a sense of belonging towards a group. ICC, IC, communicative competencies, social linguistic competencies. Five, 4, 3, 2, 1. Time's up. Only 5. We forgot the communication there for the ICC, right? Okay, and the winner is Mr. P. Let's give him a round of applause. Excellent job. Excellent job. Thank you very much. We continue with the PowerPoint, please. So here we can see how interculturally competent we are in a nutshell, but of course we need to have a thorough evaluation. The next one, please. Cramch highlights the following, and I quote, "There has never been a greater tension between what is taught in the classroom and what the students will need in the real world." The next slide, please. Thank you. So I designed this a couple of years ago with the help of some experts, and this is a comprehensive ESL-EFL model. It's an eclectic model, and it's based around constructivist learning theory, competency-based education, and principled communicative approach. I'm not going to go too much into the theory. This is for another session and another, maybe a workshop, but I'll try to explain in a general form as best as possible. Next one, please. So the constructivist theory, it's based on Piaget, Vygotsky, Ausubel. The next one, please. And the operational, next one. The operational principles basically are knowledge should be developed through previous experiences, scaffolding, learning should be active, relevant problems or situations should be established according to the context of students. Learning should be done through collaboration. Of course, there's a time for autonomous learning. Learning should be done through reception, but of course through discovery. Focus is on the learning process. We want to promote a positive environment, and students should reflect about their learning experiences. 3 psychological needs should be developed: perceived autonomy, social connection, and competency development. The next one, please. The competency-based education is based on functional, systemic, and social constructivist competency-based approach by Diaz-Barriga. And everything that is learned should have an immediate use. That's what we want from our model and from our classes. Learning should be through interaction of knowledge, skills, abilities, and interaction with different people. And of course, the context should be considered. Next one, please. The methods we use are project-based learning, problem-based learning, task-based learning, basically phenomenon learning. The next one, please. Principled communicative approach, this is from Dornier. Creative integration of meaningful communication with declarative input. and automation of linguistic rules. So this is not the typical communicative approach. There's a moment for a learning stage, an explicit learning stage, and there's a moment for an implicit learning stage. The next one, please. Our method is basically a 3-stage process. The first stage is an acquisition and an implicit process. The second stage is a learning explicit process. And the third stage, we go back to an acquisition, a natural learning approach, an implicit learning process. The next one, please. The purpose of the first stage is to establish a context, to interest students, to establish a daily goal, which should have the following. It should be based on developing the linguistic competence, competencies for life, through an intercultural approach, and we should be finding a solution to a task, to a problem, or a project. It's challenging, it's not easy. I have my teacher here that can tell you we've been working with this for 2 years and we still haven't mastered this, but I believe we're getting good results, positive results. Next one, please. Stage 2 is focus on form. It's a learning phase and formulaic language, controlled practice. We use textbooks, mostly the workbook, which it helps us in this controlled activities. Linguistic components should be presented in context as much as possible, even though it becomes a little bit more challenging. And the last stage, the next one please, it's basically trying to solve a task, a problem, or a project in order to practice with the linguistic aim or the communicative competence, at the same time developing competencies for life through an intercultural approach. Linguistic aim should be developed through a meaningful and natural approach. Collaboration is a must. There should be evidence. A conclusion should be established at the end of the activity, and the focus is on the learning process as well as at the result. There should be a self-assessment and a peer assessment too. And here are some examples. Again, we would need to have another session or workshop, but here are some examples. For example, the aim, this is for lower elementary or kindergarten. Aim, numbers 1 through 10, emotions happy, sad, and angry, colors yellow, blue, and red, and the daily goal established was be able to control our emotions. So of course they would be counting to 10, they would have their faces and their colors. So they would be learning the grammar, the vocabulary, but the focus would be on controlling our emotions, developing competencies for life. The next one, present perfect. This would be for 6th graders or middle school students. And create a timeline, analyze and discuss things that I have done. Present short-term plan to become a better person and a positive influence in my community. So they would be practicing with present perfect, yes, but the focus and the aim is on creating a short-term plan, being a better person, developing competencies for life. The next one, food and quantities. No, go back, thank you. Food and quantities, this is for middle school, high school, basic, intermediate level. According to your budget, create a menu for a community kitchen in order to feed 100 people. So they would be working with the linguistic aim, food and quantities, but the focus would be feeding people who don't have anything to eat. Again, helping community, developing competencies for life. And finally, greetings, again, middle school, high school, basic level. Compare greetings in different countries and discuss how the lack of intercultural awareness can affect relationships. These are some examples that I've received from my teachers. Again, it's a model. We would need to look at the whole methodology, the strategies. Of course, we include technology. We include some strategies such as whole brain teaching and other different things. But this is the general idea. Hopefully, sometime soon I can talk more about this model. Next one, please. And I hope that after this presentation, when you go home, you reflect on your own practices, you think on what you're doing, and ask yourselves, are you changing lives? Are you transforming lives? Or are you just teaching grammar? Thank you very much.
We give you this present. Thank you very much. And let's
Thank
give
you
a
very much.
round of applause for Mr. Bogar.
Thank you very much. It was a pleasure.